to another weekly recap of the Lansing Area Blood Bowl League. My name is Rob, aka Lantern Noir.
My name's Chuck Norseman.
We're here with scores and highlights for Week 5 of the league. Without ado, we're going to dive right in. Our top score to bring to you, the Sunfall Starstriders versus the Stunt Runts. Now, Coach Andy was coming back from a rough game where significant casualties showed that the Elves were a team that could not be kept down. The Elven Union team took the win over the Snotlings 5-2 and took the casualty count 2-1. The Amazonian Delphi Dip Duck Dodgers squared off with the Short Stack Smashers, the Gnome team. This was an absolute Greek tragedy in the writing. Weather kept either team from ever truly controlling the ball. Final score 1-0 to the Dodgers. And then keeping with the dodgeball teams, Savage Joe's Gym had a chance to square off against the Skull Ranch Rioters. That's Lizardmen versus Corn. And once again, the Blood God was not pleased. Final score 1-0 to the Gym Mates. And they kept it tight on the casualty count, Chuck. It was 3-4 in the Rioters' favor.
Nice, good score. Well, I'm starting out. Yours truly got to be a ringer for the Norse game versus the Snotlings, Jimmy Snotrans. The score was 3-1 with the casualties of 9-2. Those little Snotlings didn't stand a chance. Never do. The Clark's Fungus City Cheats, more Snotlings versus Moss's Undo Thwap. Bretonians, the score was 3-2 in favor of the Snotlings. Casualty count, simple 1-1. Then we have the Josh's Ragnarots, Shamelin Undead versus another Dansville Dan Rats, Skaven. The score was 3-0 in favor of the Shamelin Undead with a casualty count of 1-4 in favor of the Dan Rats, no less.
Yeah, that Shamelin Undead, they can put up a heck of a fight.
Yeah.
When they're giving up to you. It's a quick correction. This is absolutely my fault. Before Clark starts emailing, Goblin team.
Goblin team.
Because remember, for those that are not aware, Clark is the one that has the Agility 1 Doom Diver.
That's still alive.
Still alive. Still alive. We'll see. We now have a countdown clock going. We'll see what happens in that case. So back to me.
Yep.
All right, then we keep going. Another Amazonian team. That would be the Lustria Monarchs versus the Golden Shamrocks, Necromantic Horror. This was just an amazing game. Tons of elite athleticism on both sides, but with a 3-2 casualty count favoring the Shamrocks, they walked away with a 2-0 win. So that Shamrocks 2, Monarchs nothing. Stordan, coach for the 10 pounds of chaos in the 5-pound stack, had a chance to play against Chris and the Weight is Ogre. Another just a grueling grind fest between the Ogres and the Chaos Dwarves. 2-2 casualty count, non-stop blows being traded, and it showed in the final score a 1-1 tie.
Next we have the Befowlers, Nurgle, Chris Befowlers versus Josh H's Gobby Horror Picture Show. Score was 1-0 in favor of the Nurgles with a casualty count of 1-1. Kind of a simple knockdown, drag-out fight. And then we have the Besters Jesters, Old World Alliance versus TJ's 7-star Jules, more Shamelin Undead. 2-0 in favor of Besters Jesters with a casualty count also in favor of the Besters Jesters. It's all about that immediate blitz result is what changed that game.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt. That and the tongue twister.
Yeah.
Because that'll get you. We also have a league first. The Walhalla Warboys squared off against the Brambleshot Tooth Takers. This was a Snotling versus Orc, and not Orc, Goblins.
More errors.
Another miscreditation of team types. This was just an absolute grind fest. But what was interesting was this one favored the Snotlings between the two small teams. This was a league first for the season in that the Tooth Takers were so battered by the Snotling Trolls and Pump Wagons that they were forced to leave the pitch. The only thing that showed mercy that day was the ref who called the game over on the 14th turn. That said, while the scoreboards for the league will show it as a 2-0 win to the War Boys. I think it's worth noting that the Tooth Takers did put up a touchdown, which unfortunately was lost in the early conclusion. But I think he needs the credit for scoring against that defense.
Absolutely, he got there.
Yeah, and I think that's worth mentioning. So I think that's it for our general recaps.
Yep.
We now have to take a look at how we did on last week's predictions.
We got to talk about how the talking heads said things were going to happen.
They absolutely did. And I think let's start with the interesting one. Green Legs and Wham versus the Silly Gooses. And we both called this for the Gooses.
We did. We were just shooting for the underdog. We knew it was an underdog shot, but Silly Gooses had the opportunity. They had the ability.
They absolutely did. And unfortunately, Green Legs and Wham did come out on top with a 2-1 win, but Craig no longer remains the only coach in the league that no one has scored against.
Correct.
That we now have that we have proven they can be scored on. Green Legs and Wham's defenses can be broken.
Yeah, and John goes to note, more kudos to John, he actually would have got 2 touchdowns and tied the game, but the Green Legs and Wham actually murdered all the linemen, so no one had the right stuff to be thrown.
That is pitch perfect strategy. Will be interesting though, because I do think there's a caveat here, which is to see which team will be the first to score a traditional touchdown against Green Legs and Wham, if any. Because a one-turn touchdown is a touchdown, but it's a different beast of touchdown.
How else do Gnomes even score?
They have foxes.
That's a distraction.
Well, you heard what the fox said.
The orcs get hungry and chase the foxes around the field.
This is true. Absolutely true. Next up, Alex's Nekahara knee capacitators squaring off with Daniel's Lizard Skinner, and we split on this. I said the knee capacitators were in a good position. You took the position that Lizard Skinner was going to come out on top. How are you feeling about that prediction now?
Pretty sad. I was there for the game, and it was a bloodbath. The knee capacitators found out that chameleons have knees and got excited, and that was it. That's all she wrote. It
was a 2-0 win for the capacitators. I also think it's important too that there were some issues with ball control.
Absolutely, there was definitely something on the ball, grease, blood, some sort of goo that would not let anything pick up the ball.
Yeah, and then I think this is one of our last major predictions. The L's versus Durin's Defenders. A lot of duck going on there. We flagged this as I think one of our most anticipated games of the week in the classic Elf versus Dwarf show off. And we were wrong. We were wrong.
The elves showed us there's a path through that dwarven armor.
Well, around it.
He said he punched through it.
Well, and in all fairness, and we appreciate Coach Dika of the High Elf team being a bit of a good sport, came out and had some choice words for the press after the game. But it was just a phenomenal game. 2-1, one casual. He held the Dwarves to a single casualty.
That's what I'm saying.
That shows some excellent gameplay. Well, good positioning of those elves to stay out of punching range of the dwarven team.
What I want to know. This is what I want to know. Was it hit and run, or was it sidestep, or was it just pure agitude that got there? Comment below.
Por que no both?
Por que no both?
It could be all of the above.
I'm so impressed with the elf team.
Yeah, it was a great game. We're very happy for it, and we're feeling good about that. And last,
go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, are the Durin's Defenders gonna let it happen a second time?
Well, that's in our predictions. We have one more recap to mention. We do want to welcome Scotty to the league with his inaugural game versus the Nighthawks. It was a good. Both coaches said it was a solid match with shared blows on both sides. The Purple Frogs are coming in as an Imperial Nobility team, so that's I think the only one in the league so far. It's a very unique team. It's very strong, very steady. The Nighthawks did take the win 2-1, but from all counts, it was a great match.
It was pretty solid. Definitely enjoyed reading all the jerseys on the Purple Frogs team, where they're all Muppets, Animal,
Yep.
Kermit, everybody. It was fantastic. But Luke just knows what he's doing, and heart of the dice. If he wants a play to happen, the dice are going to go that way, and it showed in the
Enough
game.
will be praised.
Yeah, enough will be praised. Luca has a direct hotline like the bat phone to Knuckle. It's fantastic.
So you've already cued us into some of our predictions for this week.
Oh, it's exciting. This is so exciting.
Well, we have our what I'm referring to as the Henry VIII match. Second verse, same as the first. And that is going to be the Sunfall Striders squaring off with Durin's Defenders. So we have another Elf-Dwarf matchup. Back-to-back weeks. Now the difference is this is going to be Elven Union instead of High Elves. The question is, does the Union's diversity give them the same edge that the High Elf purity does?
Ooh, I would argue differently. Because I think the High Elves have diversity among the different roles.
Okay.
Where the Elven Union's just, I'm good, I'm Agi too, see ya. And Coach Andy's still recovering from his previous roster disaster.
He is still trying to raise the money to replace all of those players he lost.
Right.
He was 5,000 gold pieces away from purchasing that Blitzer he's trying to get.
Save up
for the record, rumors of a GoFundMe by the Star Striders have not been substantiated. So if you get a text or an email asking you to donate, that is more than likely a scam.
Yeah, don't do that.
Or it's Green Legs and Wham trying to raise some money to defray interest from the allegations of performance-enhancing fungus. Either way.
Absolutely. No, I'm really curious if Andy's pure journeyman of Agi 2 team is going to be able to stand up to the Durin's Defenders, Charles' Defenders. And maybe Charles learned a trick or two versus the Elves, and I don't know. My vote's for Andy.
I think after coming off that game, I think the Defenders have seen what the Elves can do. They're going to make the adjustments now this week. They're going to go into that locker room. They're going to watch the film. I'm picking the Defenders.
They're going to watch the film and come back stronger, huh?
I absolutely think so.
Oh, man, but that pure Agi 2, and every Elf team's not the same, and Andy is terrifying at seeing things that, to this day, I still can't see, by the way. He just sees the plays.
All right. Next up, we have to talk about the OWA versus OWA. That's two Old World Alliance teams, Andrew versus Thad. The Field of Oath squaring off against the Bester's Jesters.
That's right.
And coming in, Andrew is one of the last coaches in the league to have a 0 in that loss column.
Yep.
And so this is a real opportunity for the Jesters to knock him off that pedestal and move up into possibly the top 10. Right now, the Jesters are sitting at rank 12. So this is a real good chance for them to make a mark and move to the column. And nobody can blame the asymmetry inherent in the game because they're bringing the same teams.
Well, I think that's what's going to make it this big chess match. I think it's going to be who does the better lineup and who receives the kickoff first. Because dice will be dice and not will be praised, but if you guys aren't playing the same level of chess, then it's going to tip in that favor.
Yeah,
So,
and they're both tight. They're both sitting at 9 touchdowns each. Andrew's defense has proven to be a little bit tighter. I'm going to go with the Fieldorf Oaths for this one.
as am I. I haven't seen Thad play yet. I haven't been able to scout the field when he's got his team on the field, but I have played against Andrew several times now, and my vote's for Andrew.
Then we move on to the Clash of Titans, and which will be interesting. This is going to be Clark's Fungus City Cheats and the Savage Joe's Gyms, coached by Jake. This should be an interesting shootout. Savage Joe's Gym has just been ripping people up left and right. The question is that Agi 1 Doom Diver going to find his way to the end zone?
No. I mean, he'll find his way to the end zone, but it's not going to be enough.
Okay.
Jake's in 5th place currently, and he's only allowed 5 touchdowns to happen against him with 10 casualties. He's going to step up and he's just going to smash. And he's going to keep people in the backfield.
That Linosaurus is daunting. I'm going to firmly disagree. I think that Doom Diver is going to be air mailing that ball into the end zone every single turn he gets it.
You might be right. Clark is in 8th place, 12 touchdowns. He's allowed 10 against him, though, so that's going to give Jake the opportunity to grab the ball and hammer it home with the Skinks.
So which way are you coming down officially?
Oh no, I'm going with Jake all the way.
All right. And then last but not least, I think this will be one of the most interesting asymmetrical matches we're going to look at this week. The Dansville Dan Rats versus the Skull Ranch Rioters. We're talking about a team known for not airmailing it into the end zone, but simply just slipping past anything and everything to find their way in against a team literally dedicated to the blood god.
Yeah.
The Oops All Frenzy team. Which means if you get within 10 feet of that sideline, you are going to go hang out in the stands.
Yes, for sure.
And they don't do cotton candy in these stands.
No, the fans are extremely vicious this year.
Yes, absolutely. The Skull Ranch Riders, though, have been having a rough go this season with just getting their casualty count up. So the question really is, I think, are we looking at a blowout in touchdowns for the Dan Rats or a blowout in casualties for the Rioters?
So you're saying Zach and his team are just underdeveloped?
That might be the case.
Man, I think so. Again, I haven't seen him play, but I think he's maybe just getting the casualties, but they're not going to the death box, going to the safe box.
Possibly.
But my vote's for Dan and the Dansville Dan Rats. If his gutter runners will get off the bench and score a touchdown.
If they can keep their bodies intact, I think you're not wrong.
I don't think he's playing them. I think he's got them on the sidelines.
Yeah, he's had some rough games. There's a lot of casualties. So we'll kind of see if the dice will keep him on the pitch or not. I'm going to come down with the Rioters because I actually think this is going to be a chance for Zach to truly please the blood god and just
Blood for the blood god?
and just absolutely clear the field of rats.
Nope. I'm going Dansville Dan Rats. We call them runners for a reason.
And then kind of wrapping things up, I think last week we kicked off by talking about the state of the league. And we talked about the fact that the agility teams were having a rough go against the bashier teams. We looked at this week's game, and it's almost like everyone said, hold my beer.
That's right.
Because we had agility teams coming out, showing they could get the job done. They could get around the bashy teams and find the end zone with some regularity. So it'll be really interesting to see what happens this week going forward.
I think it's going to be I think this will be a very crucial week because this will tell us how things are going to pan out for, I guess, the second half of we'll do mid-season, right? Because we haven't hit full mid-season yet. So, but I think games 6 through 10 will tell us how the rest of the league is going to go.
Absolutely. And then we'll be back next week to tell you how we did on these predictions and talk about highlights and scores from around the league again. Till then, my name is Rob, a.k.a. Lantern Noir.
My name's Chuck Norseman.
We'll see you next time.